Tseng from Taiwan. We have a totally different story, and so I'm here to tell you. Okay, I'm here to tell you a story about Seediq people in Taiwan. It's one of the indigenous group of Taiwan as an example of what we did for ICH in Taiwan. And going further to the problems we are facing now. Before entering the Seediq topic, let me take a little time to mention the Safeguarding Act of ICH in Taiwan. Actually, starting from 1982. Okay. In line with the Cultural Heritage Preservation Act, first issued in 1982, and being revised for many times afterwards, the latest revision in 2016. The Bureau of Cultural Heritage, Minister of Culture, has been established on May 20th, 2012, starting the nomination and inclusion work to building the intangible cultural heritage list since 2012, which covers the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity and the list of intangible cultural heritage in needs of urgent safeguarding. And up to 2018, there has been 5 items of intangible cultural heritage has been specified and proclaimed by BOCH of Taiwan. And among the 500 items inscribed, 63 items are valorized as the national and important level, while the rest of 437 items as the county, city, municipality, and ordinary level. Okay. Now, we're starting talking about Seediq. This ethnic group is a very ancient one. It's the 14th indigenous group of Taiwan, but actually it's a very, very old one. Among all the traditional music, the rich dancing song, onApplied, would be the most significant one, like the music totem of Seediq. Technically speaking, it's a polyphonic song applying to the so-called triage music texture. And now I'm talking about the circulation history of the Seediq, onApplied, and the inscription process of this music genre. Starting from the Japanese colonial period. Most of the ancient practices were banned by the government at that time. For example, headhunting, facial tattoo, sorcery, etc. Only weaving, singing, and dancing were permitted based on the preference of the Japanese officers. So, after the Wushe incidents, it's quite famous in the 1930s, all the survivors from military crackdown were relocated for a centralized control. It's a historic picture of Wushe Shijian. Okay, as a consequence, onApplied used to be the core of a tribal cult, were stripped of its religious context and passed down in the form of collective polyphonic singing and frequently performed at celebration and entertainment occasion. And then the change after the retrocession of Taiwan. Going through the Japanese colonial oppression, modernizing and civilized movements brought by Kuomintang governments and the spread of Christian belief. The nature and the inner spirit of onApplied has been transformed into a musical genre, symbolizing the Seediq traditional culture. But meanwhile, the transmission of this genre has been fading out rapidly. And the preservation action since the 60s, most of it conducted by the academic people or government institutes. The first one is the folk song collecting movements from the 1960s to 70s, Shi Weiliang and Xu Changhui. And after that, like Liu Bingchuan and the scholar Wu Rongshun, Yu Jinfu, and me, myself, in the more than 10 more years, we do the research one by one. And the government institutes like the Council of Indigenous People, National Center of Traditional Arts, and the Taipei National University of Arts, the institute or university also support for the research. Okay, it's the Xu Changhui. Okay, and then all all the research leads to the official inscription of Seediq, we are going to make it in 2013. Proposed by Cultural Affairs Bureau of Nantou County. And the main cultural bearer is Obinawi, and the practitioner is the Seediq traditional cultural troupe, composed by the people from Sterlingan tribe of Seediq ethnic group. And the inclusion of Seediq Uyaskamegi in the list of intangible cultural heritage of Taiwan triggered a series of research and preservation activities afterwards. So this is the barrow, Obinawi, and the troupe. Actually, they belong to the same village, same tribe. They are all relatives. It's the publication of mine. Okay, and there is a parallel movement happened autonomous in the village. The cultural awakening and the autonomous transmission with the Seediq community. There's a very serious earthquake, Jiji earthquake, in 1999. In that earthquake, 415 people were killed and 11,305 injured. That was a very serious one, I guess you know. So, in order to comfort the injured spirit of the elderly people, the church minister Xu Yuefeng assembled the surviving old lady singer, including Obinawi and Labai Dagun, who had passed away, encouraged them to share and teach their old fellow people to sing those ancient tunes. And this action did great help in soothing the anxious hearts of the elders, and at the same time initiating an autonomous cultural revival action at a specific Seediq tribe called Sterlingan. This awakening went on and met with the cultural preservation action conducted by the academic people or governmental institutes, leading to the inscription of Seediq Uyaskamegi as the preservation item of Nantou County in 2013. The main cultural bearer is Obinawi and the practitioner Seediq traditional cultural troupe. You see that mixed together. Okay, then now I'm going to make a brief introduction about Uyaskamegi, what it is, because I'm going to present a composing and performance project according to this. Okay, I'm going to very fast because lots of things to say. So it's an endless ritual dancing song. In the past, Uyaskamegi was sung and danced in all kinds of farming, head hunting, and hunting rituals throughout the years. And it's not a specific song, but a general terms for a collective sacred songs and dances, consisting of a series of tunes and improvising with lyrics and the dance step. And the texture of the Uyaskamegi is a tuilage polyphony, is like overlapping, or like a Western canon. So the mechanism is like the lead singer, which has to be an older, an elderly, and usually female. They call it Mabagela. Mabagela is a lead singer. And then the other voice, maybe various voices, the young people will follow. They call it the saludos, which means continue. So like da 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 da. There could be different voices imitating each other. So it's like a triage. Okay, and meanwhile there's a voice. If there's enough people, there will be a voice in the bottom singing something like ostinato, Western ostinato. They call it saludos baspia, like bum 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 bum. That's their texture. Okay, we'll hear the music later. And their scale is a 4-tone scale. Da dee da da. Okay. So all the music da 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 dee da dee 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 da 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 da. 4 notes. Okay, it's their scale. And the rhythm, the characteristic rhythm is like a really swinging one. Let's listen to one example. It's like a jazz strings. They like the rhythm. Kind of soft, and because they use lots of ornamentation, so the melody is like meandering. The meandering articulation is one of the characters too. took this recording at 2006. Almost all the elder people passed away in this report. Okay, so the improvisatory principle, actually, I have mentioned before, is like a responsorial singing, the Mobagela, the lead singer sing, and the other people follow, answer with tuilage and also not polyphonic singing. Yeah, and there are various tunes, not only one tune. Yeah, it's a collect. Actually, it's a genre. It's not one song. For example, this one. Let's listen to this one. It's a tuilage. Okay, now there are like 13 tunes still circulating in the tribe, and so they know the tune and they know the principle. And when they singing during the ritual, they just sing this way, always polyphony. Okay, and all the music, all the dancing, all the step related to their Gaia is like ancestral teaching. Gaia is the belief. It's a belief of Seediq people. You can say it's an ancestral teaching passed on orally, and it could be an ethical code or tribal law. And the basic spirit is like passing on. Even in the music, you can see the reason, actually, according to the old people, the reason they sing the music like a too large, like overlapping, because they won't let the music stop. It has to be passed on. It has to be continued. Basload means continue. So everything is embodying the Gaia. Okay, so the passing on spirits will be the core of Gaia. Okay. So it is embodied in the annual singing and dancing and circle dance formation. Always they were dancing in a circle. Okay, let's watch a video. It's Obi now. It's 12 years ago. Now she cannot sing anymore. The young generation always imitating the old one, the Mabugela. Even the step and the lyrics, they were improvising. She was improvising. And they always dancing on the toe. Yeah, because it looks like very diligent. Change a tune. They will change different tune. Okay, it could be lasting 3 days, 3 nights during ancient time, before, not now. Okay. Okay, now let's go to another project. It's like a musical bridging through the process of composing and performance. And the result is a music series, Seediq Ballet, Let's Dance Together. This is a participant observation upon the applied ethnomusicological project conducted by the National Center of Traditional Arts of Taiwan and the NCYU, which is National Jiayi University, and cooperating with Seediq Traditional Culture Troupe under the lead of me. Okay, linked to the significance and aesthetics of this creative project. These projects integrated the formal and informal learning by way of the creation approaches and with a hope to enhance the cultural interaction and empathy between different ethnic groups of Taiwan and ultimately contributed to the community coherence in this land, hopefully. The result of this project is a work, the form of music theater entitled Seediq, Let's Dance Together. This work applies Uyaskamegi as the core of its spirits and aesthetics. Seediq Balai means a real person, following the ancestral teaching Gaia in the hope that he can gain the permission to cross the rainbow bridge, which is called Hagao Uduh, to the heaven, where their ancestral spirits dwells forever at the end of life. So the passing on spirits of Gaia, postulates to continue or to follow, is embodied in the endless singing and dancing of Uyaskamegi. Is that this a circle? Okay, now the working stage of these projects, I related according to six stage. The stage 1 is the preparatory stage. It's for me, field investigation, interviewing, music transcription, script writing, and communicating with the composer. And step 2 is a brainstorming stage. I want to let you see this. Actually, it's the first draft between my meeting with the composer, and eventually we just make this draft lots of circle, eccentric circle. Well. The formation of a concentric circle, which is several circles in various sizes around the fireplace in the center, embodies the spirit of Seediq Gaia. And the half circle, presenting the earthly effort, meeting up the other half circle of Hagao Udu, constitute the circle of eternity. Step 3 is the educational stage. I do it with 2 ways. One way is give various kinds of seminars and speech to the public for the promotion and the social education. And the other way is as a teacher in NCYU, I teach the Seediq cultural and the music to the students of NCYU Wing Ensemble in advance, because all the students, they learn Western classical music since they were kids, so they don't know anything about Seediq, they don't know anything about Aboriginal music. Every of them played the classical. So before getting the score from composer, all the students has memorized the 7 tunes, the lyrics, and mastered the improvisatory mechanism of Uyaskamegi and its relation to Gaia. It's before they get the score. So it's my seminar. And the step 4 is the composing stage. Now the brainstorming result, the several circles came to be realized to a real music. And according to the design of the composer, there are the information including 3 circles. Let me introduce. The inner circle is the Seediq, people singing and dancing Uyaskamegi in a permanent circle around the campfire in the center. And the second layer of circle is the single reed instrument player, saxophone and the bass clarinet. They're playing the same figuration, which forms another layer of tirage texture of Uyaskamegi, building a protective sonic wall for Seediq people so that they wouldn't be interfered by the voice other than the Uyaskamegi tune, for they were never trained to sing in an ensemble or chorus. So I just wanted to be yourself, and we did it. Therefore, this group of players presented the function of guarding the core elements of this crossover work, which is the Uyaskamegi, its original form. And the third layer of circle, the rest of the woodwind players on the stage and the brass player off the stage, embracing around the audience, forms a big circle and play various improvisation figuration, which are assigned specifically to each group of instruments. So they have to learn to improvise. The voice included in this layer of circle are responsible for adding new harmonic color, timbre, and rhythmic drive to original Uyaskamegi. which are the forces that decorates this ancient genre with a new coating and a relatively modern character. Okay, and step 5 is the rehearsing stage. It's a critical stage because the music student hadn't been trained to play improvisationally, and the tribal people were not used to sing ensembly. So composers' design might be a big challenge and cause a chaotic situation. After several times of practice, this new improvising mechanism did work out. So let's see the result. I have to jump. I have to skip. All the story was related around the Obinawi, the cultural background. We take up all the, all the score, all the rag, and our students have to just play improvisingly. And they're barefooted, they dress like the same as Seediq people. Okay. The slow tune and now the fast. Because the set still people they are improvising, so our students have to change according to the lead singer. Whenever she changes, our students have to change the configuration. And the students around the audience to form the biggest circle, the third circle. They will share their prey to everybody. So now people are claiming their share for the hunting. And the drawing is made by the children of the tribe. Real campfire is made by our students, look like real. It's the Obinawi, the cultural barrier, who's still alive. Okay, okay. well, we got some very nice, some warm response. But the story hasn't finished. There's a new colonial battlefield taking place in Taiwan. Okay, let me continue the story. At the second performance on March 19, 2018, some Seediq tribe representative attended the concert, questioned the legality of this performance in the view of Protection Act for the traditional intellectual creation of indigenous people, which issued in 2015. It's a real act, different act from the Cultural Preservation Act. So, the tribal people proposed two questions. First, being a non-indigenous me, I should pay for the authorization in order to utilize the traditional intellect as the source of the crossover creation. Second, the competent institute executing the exclusive rights in the tribe should be the Seediq tribal parliament instead of the specific tribe, even though they are designated as the cultural bearer of the intangible cultural heritage according to the Cultural Heritage Preservation Act. So, fully aware of the increasing political tension in terms of the property rights and the moral rights of intellectual creations among indigenous tribes, me has handled the authorization of various legal rights in a very beginning stage of this composing project, including the exclusive rights of intellectual creations. The authorized is Obinawi, the cultural bearer of Wiaskamigi with the practitioner Seediq traditional cultural troupe. Well, but now the problematic point lies on who has the legitimacy of holding and executing the exclusive rights of traditional intellect, which has been passing down orally in the tribe since ancient time. Not to mention that the group who transmits and protects the traditional intellect is very different and even contradictory to the one holding the political source. Moreover, the registration item proposed to the Council of Indigenous People, including the 6 separate teams, lyrics and dance step applied in the ritual dancing song Wiaskamegi. Those people proposed the registration without paying the respect to the integral and inseparable nature and of the Seediq ritual music, its unique improvisatory mechanism and the relation to Gai. The Aboriginal society of Taiwan seemed to facing another wave of colonial battle, but the colonialists are not a specific nation or sovereign state, but a rather invisible sense of value. What will be the outcome of this battle? We still don't know yet. It's a very new issue, very new situation happening in Taiwan. I think it won't happen in China. It's so different culture, so different system. So I tell this story to all of you. This is the finish.
Thank you, Professor Tseng, for this very interesting and insightful presentation. I think it's true that we have very different models, but I think we can benefit from learning from each other. So I think we only have time for maybe 2 quick questions. Yes.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm just wondering, as we can see, you were using totally the Western tonal system, Western scores.
Yeah.
I'm not questioning this. I'm just wondering, did you start the transcription with this Western score system, or you just made some kind of a shift to this?
No, actually, in the composition, all the Seediq tunes just stay the same, and because their scale, they also play Jews harp, and so the Jews harp for Jews harp they use the harmonic system. So actually, their scale is really, matched with the Western tuning. Yeah. So maybe it's lucky. Yeah, because they really have the same sound. Yeah. missionary, yeah, actually they all try to convert it to Christianity. Yeah, but you know the way of their singing, they sing this way way before the Western the priest came into the tribe. Like Bunun the same, long time ago. It's not learning from the imitative counterpoint. It's not. Yeah, it's not really. And they only sing this during their ritual, like after the head hunting. Yeah, and they don't know they are saying something like a polyphony. This just one word, basludas. The old people just say basludas to continue, because it cannot be stopped during the ritual. It's like the fire, the campfire, the fire in their kitchen. They cannot be stopped because they move around in the mountain. Whenever they see the smoke, they know somebody live there. So they just change their way. It's their wisdom. It's getting in harmony with the nature. Yeah. So according to the Gaia, the music in the right cannot be stopped. That's why they developed this form. Like a different lead singer, they have to take turns. So during the ritual, at least 3 or 4 people, because they cannot. Their lyrics are like Obi Nawi, you continue, and then Obi Nawi, when she's tired, she would say, well, Wadam, you continue the song. It just cannot be stopped. And with the chulage, it's the Gaia. But now they only. It just become like a symbol, cultural symbol. It's that they don't have any rite, any ritual activity anymore. No.
You please be short.
Okay, thank you very much. I have done similar projects, so I can see a lot of effort what you have put inside. So thank you very much, and I really feel moved from your presentation. And just a small question: have you evaluated what did the students think and act after the project, and also from the studying people, how they feel on the stage, and because they never
In short, they love each other.
Yeah.
That's the goal. I think it's a bridging. Yeah, in the education,
and
because yes. And the Seediq people likes our student. They admire our student, and we're student like them. Yeah, I think the ultimate goal of this project is actually just a bridging, and the work is just a result. Yeah, the relation I think is the most important.
老师你好，刚刚我就是半中央来，所以没有听到前面。我想问一下您，就是3个问题。第一个就是关于它音乐本体，它的调式是不是以语调式和绝调式为主？
不是。
然后我先问完您跟我讲。然后第二个就是说它的这个是以4、5度的这种节制为主。然后第3个就是它是管它的这种和声是叫支声或者是什么？因为我前面没有听到。
Well, the scale, the photon, the re, mi, sol, la, actually is coming from their mother tribe, Adayang. Or usually they chanting with da di or da da da. So the Seediq only just adding some accents because of dialect da di da da. And some tribe, the oldest tribe, like the one is the ancient, the oldest. How should I say the dialect group? Yeah, they usually da da da. But the other like Doda, that they like da di da da di da 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 di da di da. It's actually I think related to the dialect and the intonation of the language. It's nothing to do 宫调式、语调式. No. Yeah, and you can say it's a heterophony because they do everything according to one melody, even though as in our point of view it's like imitative counterpoint, but they are not doing imitative counterpoint. They only have one tune. So in their way, I would say it's a heterophony. But the outlook is like a imitative counterpoint or canon or something. Yeah, I think different approach.
So do do men also sing these songs?
Men usually they say because the man has to watch out for the other tribal people to attack. So usually women and the man has to go to the war. But sometimes they were invited to the dance at the end. Yeah, but usually women are dancing and the man has to fight. Yeah.
And sorry, may I ask, there's also a film named Seediq Ballet.
Yeah, the same.
Are they related?
They are Seediq ballet. Just their story, and this tribe actually is the Mona Muda's offspring. Yeah.
But which came out first, the music theater or the film?
A film first, and this special act, is initiated by the film because the registration, the 商标, yeah, for the movie, yeah. So come after it's about the profits, about the ownership of the income. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Thank you also to the two other speakers.
A short comment, is it?
Okay.
Okay. A short comment. I'm very happy because most of us are talking about what we can do, what we should do, from the perspective of scholars or government guiders like that. And actually, somebody is thinking about what the indigenous people they are thinking about, and it's an issue about the copyright of their culture. Actually, I'm facing the same problem because, like, even if they want to publish their music pieces, their works, for example, in Sami, the yoik song belongs to the people who are yoiked, not who are yoiking. So if I yoik you, the song belongs to you, but I'm the musician. Yes. I want to publish my work. So there are lots of things to do with the copyright of indigenous culture. So thank you for mentioning this. Yeah.
Okay, I think we have to call it a session, and let's give all the speakers a round of applause. Thank you.